and say he has won another case. In fact, I'm wrong. There is only one case that has been finished. Only one. You know, all the man does is make what is called interim applications, in between applications. And then the applications, which may or may not have bearing on the final outcome of the matter, a judgment is delivered on that, and then the Jackalacks will post 3-0. How can it be 3-0 when the cases are still before the court? Those cases have not come to any semblance of finality. But you see, he will go bragging, and his gullible ones like Ian Cauldron will repeat that. He's winning all cases. Sell case, Shaste Sage, sell case, Heineken. You know, I don't understand. He's winning all cases when the cases are still before the court. You know, in fact, I was in Miku, Clyde Boswe. I was in Miku by Clyde, my good friend. He does not understand. His eyes are totally yellow. He has jaundice to the 10th degree, 10 out of 10. But, you know, we always have our friendly banter as far as politics is concerned. And he goes, gaga, so, pawesha, snake, again, so, tout, c'est qu'est-ce là? Clyde. I said, Clyde, écoutez-moi bien. Pièce que chasse ni à l'audience là, poco fini. And those are the untruths that the people peddle, just in the name of politics. Now, there is one that is completed. And as the Bajans would say, more is not completely finished, it's finished completely. That is what the Bajans will say. It's not completely finished, it's finished completely. And I will come back to that one. But that's the Ernestine matter. I will come back to it in a bit. But you see, when you peddle on truth, at some point, the truth must hit you in the face. And the sad reality is, they draw politics into everything. Every single thing. Imagine, there is a Jackalack called Lon Jules. Lon Jules, folks, is part of a group of former SDA students. Okay? And he was one begging Stephenson King for a job. I don't know what happened. I don't know. You know, but he didn't get the job. Carlton Augustine, good night to you. Roberta Jamari, Phyllis Shelsher, Marie Frederick, Calixta Joseph, Ivy Mitchell, and all the others. A special, special good night. But you see, he's part of a group of former SDA students. If one guy says it was hot today, Lon Jules would blame the government. It rained, and CPL, most of the marches were rained out. He will blame the government. You know, he will blame the government. Government caused it. Mark Heineken, good night to you, Mark. Very well known. This man has been preaching from time immemorial to finish the east wing of the original St. Jude Hospital, and we're coming to that later tonight. And, you know, it fell on deaf ears, and today they have the audacity to talk about St. Jude. We'll come to that later. But you see, Mark posted on social media a private property, the photo of a private property in Castries, being refurbished without the relevant safety apparel. So no safety mechanisms, no barrier, no this, no that. So Mark thought, you know, something is fundamentally wrong. Lon Jules the Jackalack, under that post, will ask, what am I doing? What is the Minister of Castries Central doing when a private citizen, a private entity is refurbishing their building that they own? What am I doing? You know? That is the extremity to which they take politics. What am I doing? Boy, let me tell you this. I have learned a lot. I was asking, what am I doing? Really? No, Richard said DCA. Can you believe that jackal? I wasn't the one who asked Stevenson King not to give you the job, you know. And anyway, I've learned a lot from the Prime Minister because I'll hold back. I will hold back. You know, one thing the PM always says, Philip JP will tell you, you know, and I must say I've learned a lot. You see that thing he always repeats in my ear, good intentions always prevail. This has become a staple in my memory, always looking to the forefront of my mind. So when all those innuendos, when all those remarks that fall squarely within the ambit of being defamatory are made, good intentions always prevail. And another thing he says, gentlemen, when you want to say something that you believe because of your position you cannot say it, you must swallow your spit. Swallow your spit. So tonight, Lon Jules, I will swallow my spit. But next time you see a post or you are having a conversation, do not bring me into it. So if your mother has a house in La Panse and she decides to refurbish it, or your father has a house in Sanssouci and he decides to refurbish it and without the requisite permission, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'll swallow my spit. I'll swallow my spit, but you'll do it again. You'll do it again. So everything for those jackalacks has to be politicized. Everything. You see, the government is doing so well that they cannot fault us on performance. They just cannot fault us on performance. So they make up stories and then politicize the stories. You know, folks, I could never forget every time I say making up stories. The people made up a post, Richard Frederick, and end up liking their post under my fake name. Well, not my fake name, under my name, which was a fake account. You know, just to show Richard Frederick liked their post, a post I would never like. You know, a post I would never like. But they had that fake account, and then, having had the fake account, they liked a post under my name. Another thing they did, when this guy that was running it runs his mouth, another post with a Frederick saying that she is my niece. And I told her so and so. And then they began blasting me based on what they say I told her that they had typed themselves. So all they do is make up stories and use those fabrications as the basis for attack. But tato, you all don't see what is coming to your circles now? Those whom the God seek to destroy, he first make mad. Madness going on, fights, this, that. Everything is going on within the camp. I will not even mention any kind of illness, because illness, it could take anybody at any time. You know, but you all need to examine yourselves and your consciences. The unjustified attacks you all launch on people, including civil servants, which I will come to as well. You all don't know. Karma comes back to you tenfold. You all don't know that. You know, so everything for them, they politicize. And like I said, they cannot find fault with the government's performance. So they make up stories, and when they make up stories, they use the story as a basis to attack the political directorate. You know? So they make a fake account, Richard Frederick, and they end up liking one of their posts, and they will brag, Richard Frederick liked their posts. They made a fake account, that's Richard Frederick niece. Hey, my uncle tell me he does give money to so and pays bills. And then they would make, after they have done that, they would now use that as fodder to attack me again. You know, you'll have to pay for those things. Then you'll have begun paying for them. You'll have begun paying for them. You know, look at the crime situation, folks. This government has done 20 times in 2 years what the last administration did for the police in 5 years. If you care about police officers, if you care about crime, why did you stop funding the police training? Why? Why? Reinstituted by no other than Philip Joseph Pierre, the current prime minister. You know? We have done more to combat crime in 2 years. Crime is a problem. Crime is a problem. You see, under Chasney, we had the most homicides of the time. You know, and Chasney had to be held accountable because I am sure it is in the memory bank of each and every viewer and listener that Chasney on the campaign trail, took to the platform and he said, if Kenny can't, I will. Kenny Anthony can't, but I will. He said so. It was an undertaking he had given to the people of this country that basically saw his rise to prime ministership. Those were the undertakings. So that came, him being prime minister came with an expectation from the people. You know, Kenny can't, but I will. But you combating crime. You defund the police. You demolished the largest prisoner holding facility in the OECS. For heaven's sake, how is that combating crime? How is that combating crime? Today we have to find over $4.5 million to build what already existed, and your humble servant spearheaded the construction of that facility at the request of police officers who knew me as a police officer. You know, you just demolished it. Today, we are suffering from inadequate space to hold prisoners. And you, of all persons, who deprive the police of such a facility, want to open your mouth and talk about crime? Zot power zot need to up share. I remember not too long ago, the man stood in Parliament and he said, at the rate we're going, we're going to have 120 murders. That's all you all do. You see, folks, they cannot find any kind of vent. Like we say colloquially, tout bouché, flabo passa, jamais passé. And because of that, they are trying desperately. They cannot chide us, they cannot castigate us, they cannot fault us on performance. So they will use any kind of colloquial event, any kind of event they believe hinges remotely on governance, remotely. They will use it because they cannot fault us. So now, they are using murders. Murders, you know. Imagine the Jackalacks are using murders as an avenue to be elected to the governance of this country. And to use murders, oh, they celebrate murders. The Jackalacks celebrate murders, Ria Cruz, don't they? They always do. They celebrate murders so much, they even lie in celebrating their murders, which they see as an avenue to regain governance of this beautiful country of ours. They even post on social media untruths. Folks, look at this post for me. Look at this. United Pack of Wolves. United Pack of Wolves. Breaking news. Woman fatally stabbed in the neck by partner in Belmont Dennery. Tragically passes away at hospital. Stay tuned for further updates on the developing story. You know, leave that there still. Leave that there still. Can you put the video on the other side for me, blocking my face if you don't mind? Folks, I will play a clip of the woman they say that was fatally stabbed. Let me show you her. Show them to me, please. Good. Yes, look her right there. Look her right there to the right of your screen. You see her there? You see her? You see her? I don't know if that's her boyfriend they say that stabbed her, but look her right there. Look her right there. It's not too long. I need you to play it again for me. Yes. Yes. But the jackalax will say, woman fatally stabbed. Boy, y'all flabos, what you say? David Henry said those flabos have a special price to pay for these things. And you are right. You are right. How can you post on social media that a woman was fatally stabbed and she's walking all over the place? And she's walking all over the place. She was fatally stabbed alive then. And that is the kind of nonsense y'all spew. But you see, y'all do no research whatsoever. You know, Alison Fede, you're right. Imagine you're fatally stabbed and you're walking out of the hospital. The woman was home the following day. But they don't have time for research. They don't have time to test the veracity of anything they say. It is just about conquering the political rhetoric and conquering the narrative and conquering what they believe is favorable to them. You know? And folks, this brings me to an episode of HTSE poll. Apart from all what the government has done, you know, and that's real, Alison Fede. They have to pay for that. Just spewing lies and lies and lies and lies. Why are you all doing this? Why? Pour pouvoir. And they have the audacity to say, Mundi Shagwe pouvoir. I had a go in there talking about evil and this and that. Shagwe pouvoir the people have so. You know? Apart from all the government has done, folks, the rent reprieve, the housing assistance, the VAT removal, the laptop program, the educational assistance, the health coverage for pregnant women and persons over 80, the one-off payment to pensioners, subsidizing rice, flour, and sugar, a subsidy that Alan Chastanet had removed. The reintroduction of the distress fund, which Alan Chastanet had removed. The $500 allowance for every child that passes a secondary school. The youth economy, the small to medium business loans, etc., etc., etc. On top of all of that, and if I have to mention what the government has done in those 2 years, probably I need a program in its entirety, which may not even be enough. After all of that, the government decided that it would remove income tax from any contract valued $10,000 or less. So $10,000 or less, the contractor would pay no taxes. You will not believe that even with that, and mind you, when those incentives are granted, folks, those incentives see no label. Those incentives see no political barrier. Those incentives see no political color. Those incentives and benefits given by the government transcend the political barrier. Each and every person that qualifies would be the recipient of the benefit. You know? And they have a problem with the granting of income tax for contracts, the waiving rather, of income tax for contracts $10,000 or less. They would concoct any story. They would say all kind of crap, basically in sync with their political narrative. But just imagine, folks, HTS conducted an e-poll and a jackalack. You know, it's not, and they are very easy to identify, you know. A jackalack lady, y'all will hear, will say that she wants the $1,500 promised by Philip Joseph Pierre to the people of St. Lucia. That's what she would ask. And I will show it to you because I don't want you to think I made it up. But I'll say this. Al Prince, and this is the second time I have on tape Al Prince commending the government on policies that it has basically initiated. Yes, he sang for Flabo. Yes, he was with Flabo. I don't know if he is still with Flabo. But he was objective enough in the interview to say that the waiver of income tax for contractors that receive a contract of $10,000 or less is a good move. And that is what y'all jackalacks need to do. Y'all need to understand that you need to give Jack his jacket. Attempt to be objective for once. Because once you are objective, persons would militate to you. They would come to you. You would attract them. You can say, this is a good move on the part of government. However, I could have done it a little better. But you don't discount what is obviously a benefit to the citizens of this country that carry no political color. So somebody will go by my brother and say, Fred's Lumber, I'm a Flabo, I want VAT off. Or I'm a Labour, I want VAT off. I'm not giving Flabo. What is this? What is this? All of those policies are meant to bring reprieve to the citizenry at large, irrespective of political color. You know? And like I said, Al Prince, in this clip, praised the government for what he considered. He praised the Prime Minister for what he considered to be a good move. But we'll listen to it and we'll take note of what the Jackalak said.
It's your opportunity to weigh in on the most pressing issues of the day. The House of Assembly on Tuesday, 8th August, passed a legislation to end the payment of withholding tax for contracts for less than $10,000. The parliamentarians say this measure will provide much-needed relief, particularly to small contractors whose margins are very low. The withholding tax was 10% of the value of the contract. The parliamentarians argued that the end of the withholding tax would allow more breathing space for contractors, some of whom take home very little after meeting the costs incurred in fulfilling the contracts. So we ask, is the end to the 10% withholding tax on contracts for less than $10,000 a step in the right direction? We took to the streets to get your opinion, and here's what you had to say.
Well, I believe that's a wonderful plan by the government because contractors have been going through so much, especially when they get a job from the government, they have to pay that tax, and sometimes the money is not even all that. Again, bravo to the Prime Minister Philip Joseph Pierre. I think he's doing wonderful so far.
I feel that they take on the government at the end of the day. It's a bold initiative. Bravo to the government for removing the 10% off the subcontractors. Going to Parliament and removing that COLI has given the subcontractors a major break likewise, and can be able to feed their families a lot better and to be able to do a lot more. You know, my take on that again is bravo to the government, and they're actually working well in our interests.
Boss, is very good, very, very, very good. That's the best thing the government ever do for us, brother, for the time there. Yeah, man. Our children will get it better than that. You check it. The money can stretch. It can do more for us in the community right now there. It's like,
So you're proud of the government?
yeah, very much, very well.
Moi d'accord avec ça yo faire. Manda yo alia, moi d'accord avec ça. Moi d'accord avec police.
I believe the move is very good. Contractors will be able to stretch their little monies. They will not, the government will not take any tax from that presently. So I mean, if they get a little $10,000, they'll be get a contract for $10,000. They'll be getting all that $10,000, and they'll be able to take care of their family a lot better.
Mon mouvement bon. Moi d'accord avec ça Prime Minister qu'a fait, moi d'accord ça 100%. That's un bon travail.
Yeah, well, no one can and should doubt that it has tremendous benefits to the persons who are targeted in that bracket. I think that is a very good thing. Those who have felt it before in terms of the removal of 10%, they now, if they are to benefit from it again, by way of another contract, would see there's a vast difference in it. I believe that it's good for country, it's good for the individuals, and I would say that was very thoughtful and a very good move.
I don't have much to say, but he hasn't fulfilled his promise. He promised that he would give everybody $1,500. He has not fulfilled his promise, and I want him to go ahead and do that.
I don't have a problem with that, but what I am asking is, why is taking the 1,000 on that point? Where will you get that 1,000 for revenue or to develop the country? That is the question I'm asking. So it might be a good move for true, but then you must get that money to put back.
Do you think it's a good move by the government?
Providing that he could show me where that money will come from to replace what you took out.
Ça c'est un bon bagage gouvernement faire. Because the Haiti malé l'autre yo te ka 20 contract yo et que ka dou le treasury a poti check yo. All de la all $1,000 sorti de pour tax. So si le gouvernement tire tax là, bravo pour Prime Minister et moi feel malé we ka henati is up play yo henati contract actuellement yo ka sa paye travailler yo bien.
Everything the government then can do to alleviate stress, it's a good thing. As the situation is a bit volatile right now in every direction. So, good move. Continue on that path.
Thanks for those responses.
Thank you very much. Let me say good night to a couple of people very quickly. Monica Chango, good night. I know all of you all are in the chat room now. Bernard Haynes, good night to you. Sandra Arnett, good night. Junior Cartel, good night to you. Miss Sidoni, good night, Miss Sidoni, good night. Jackie, good night to you. Bridget Senkwa, good night again. Cletus Peter, good night to you. Mary Rodney, Asha Graves, good night to you. Sylvester Alphonse, Princess Clifford, Felicia Daniel, Ania Emmanuel, Joseph Fay, Rufus and Beverly Andre, good night. Moving Rosary, good night. Good. Folks, you all heard the clip. You all heard Al Prince overtly saying, bravo to the Prime Minister. Bravo to the Prime Minister. I think he is doing well so far. Now that is what you need, objectivity. And that is why I say that you don't criticize for criticizing's sake. When criticism is constructive, it causes you to do some introspection and attempt to ameliorate those deficiencies that you may have. If I tell them, no, bro, I think blah, 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 but do it this way. And that's what it's all about, you know. But I don't know if Shaste will correlate Al Prince or if they wouldn't let him sing again. But the man is objective. Bravo to the PM. I think he's doing good so far. You know, so, label, Debo. Now, that lady with jaundice says that Philip Joseph Pierre, PM, promised everyone $1,500. Folks, Madame la dit laissez plaisir. Premier ministre là, il ça y pas dit. Philippe Joseph Pierre pas même savait de qu'il premier ministre. C'est au bas ta Covid, but na ibo toli. Mais il a dit comme ça, Philippe Joseph Pierre dit qu'il a tout le monde $1,600. Qui laisse gouvernement, and qui laisse pays, qui a juste payé $1,600 just buy money. Qui m'a dit ça? Ça, il dit tout le monde, hein? Pas tout le monde. Il dit tout le monde. Philippe Joseph Pierre dit qu'il a moun, tout le monde $1,600. Mais quand il dit comme ça, Philippe Joseph Pierre pas jamais dit ça. Mais moi, je dis ça encore. Philippe Joseph Pierre pas jamais dit, si il vient premier ministre, il a tout le monde $1,600. Il pas jamais dit. Et naïbou trésor, qui ça Philippe J. Pierre t'a dit. Let's listen to what the Prime Minister, who was the then leader of the opposition, because I am tired, I am sick of hearing this crap. Philippe J. Pierre said he'll give everybody $1,500. He never said so. Philippe J. Pierre was speaking on the situation of COVID. And he basically was speaking as to what a Labour Party government would have done in COVID. COVID a passé, ou ka di Philippe J. Pierre. That is the kind of propaganda that they push. Let's take a listen to what Philippe J. Pierre actually said.
Listen to what the IMF, the Rapid Credit Facility of the IMF, is intended to do. It says, to address the pandemic, the authorities announced measures to help employees and households, including income support to the unemployed, tax relief, and providing cash transfers to the most vulnerable and affected. 3 months after COVID, this government still intends, they intend to help the unemployed. We are in the month of May. We still have an intention to help the unemployed. You, managing the economy, Mr. Speaker, you have done, instead of giving people fuel support, what you've done is you've put more tax on fuel. You're collecting more money on fuel than you did before under COVID.
Pierre contends that the current administration should allocate funds to social programs to bring some relief to those affected by the pandemic rather than spending on infrastructure projects.
Taking the people's money and building roads that are unnecessary at this time. We would increase the income support to the unemployed people in the country, so $500 would not be enough. A Labour Party would ensure that these people would get at least $1,500 for their response to COVID. We would triple it, my brothers and sisters.
Y'all are hearing this, folks? Did y'all hear? In fact, wait. I think to put that thing to rest, I want to play that again. I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Philippe Dika by Tutmun $1,600. The Prime Minister said 3 months after COVID, which means he's speaking in relation to COVID being in St. Lucia at the time, and rather than sending people to NIC to get $500 or whatever, a Labour Party would have given $1,500. Play it again. Pour se mouna ki ni kakazo we azo we yo. Pour yo tan encore. Okay? Philippe J. Pierre never ever said that he will just give $1,500. He said a Labour Party government would have given $1,500 had they been in office, because it was a response to COVID. Play it again for me, please.
Listen to what the IMF, the Rapid Credit Facility of the IMF, is intended to do. It says, to address the pandemic, the authorities announced measures to help employees and households, including income support to the unemployed, tax relief, and providing cash transfers to the most vulnerable and affected. 3 months after COVID, this government still intends, they intend to help the unemployed. We are in the month of May. We still have an intention to help the unemployed. You, managing the economy, Mr. Speaker, you have done, Instead of giving people fuel support, what you've done is you've put more tax on fuel. You're collecting more money on fuel than you did before under COVID.
Pierre contends that the current administration should allocate funds to social programs to bring some relief to those affected by the pandemic rather than spending on infrastructure projects.
Taking the people's money and building roads that are unnecessary at this time. We would increase the income support to the unemployed people in the country, so $500 would not be enough. A Labour Party would ensure that these people would get at least $1,500 for their response to COVID. We would triple it, my brothers and sisters.
Now, Simuna kini kakazowe azowe you. Teacher Fifi, I know you don't have kakazowe. Galba and Sufra, I know you don't. Okay? Cornelia Jacob, I know you don't. As a matter of fact, I understood that Dickiman told me that your triplets will be celebrating the 25th birthday on Monday. So you have to put 3 bottles of black for me, 1 representing each of the triplets. You know? Folks, let me say this again. I'm sure you all heard the words from the Prime Minister now, who was then leader of the opposition. At this time, you should not be using the money to do this at this time. You will do this and do that in response to COVID. In response to COVID. You know. A Labour Party government will give you $1,500 in response to COVID. Don't use the money at this time to build roads that are unnecessary. Give the people the money. Mezot Tupatu, especially on Sky FM. You know Sky FM. You know what those guys do? Some of those host jackalacks. They know better, you know. They know better. But invariably, they would never ever attempt to correct some of those ignorant callers who spew nothing but untruths. In fact, they would add to it. When a man will call New Spin and say the engineers of the Labour Party say go so, and the engineers of you, that is not true. That is a lie of the highest order, and the host facilitated and spiced it up. He spiced it up, knowing full well that is not true. Both reports from engineers of the Labour Party, from Shasta's engineers, were basically pleading the same cause for the original St. Jude. In addition, there was a letter. There is a letter, rather, from the stalwarts of the United Workers' Party asking them not to interfere not to leave the original St. Jude. You know, but the caller, you know, Tim, you know, so they have Labour Party engineers and they have Flavo engineers. And hey, and they all been paid by government. You know, crap. Nonsense. You know, be truthful, man. Be truthful. You know? Come on. And you know, folks, honestly, sometimes it sickens you. It sickens you. You know? We need to understand that at the very least, we have to be objective. The man never said that. You know? The Prime Minister now, at the time, leader of the opposition, was saying what he would do in response to COVID at the time. You know, Shasta didn't give $1 to anybody. He sent them to the NIC. Now, John, this lady, I know you understand English language well, because you speak well. I played the clip for you. If you don't understand it, you can call me. My number is all over the place. I'll come to your house and play it for you. I'll come to your house and play it for you, because you all take a political stance on everything and you all just repeat what you all hear. but you must decipher for yourself rather, what is true and what is not true. All right? The man basically said what a Labour Party government would have done. He never said he will give everybody $1,500. United Pack of Wolves, Sky FM, and those surrogates there, please stop spewing propaganda. Stop. Attempt for once to navigate on the side of truth. Try. I know it's difficult for you all because truth never ever suits your political narrative. Skinny is here, folks. He brought chicken for us. Skinny brought chicken. Good night, Skinny. Yes, man. You like what? Oh, yes. I'm going to show that in a bit. Skinny says he liked the CDC. Actually, today we unveiled some murals that were painted on the walls of the CDC. You all will see what they look like later as we play. During the break, I'll play a clip for you guys. All right? Thanks. Folks, like I said, the truth is only one of Shastney's cases is finished. And as the Bajans would say, man, is only one that did completely finish or finish completely. Only one. A brief history of the Ernest Hilles matter. Ernest Hilles brought down his vehicle. Shastney said on a political platform. So, folks, we know that is in excess of 7 years ago. We have been in office for over 2 years. They were there over 5 years. That is probably about 8 years ago. 8 years ago from now would take us where? 2015, 2016, let us say February 2016 or thereabout would be what? 7.5 years, thereabout. But he said about 7.5 years ago on a political platform that basically once he won the elections, he would have gone after Ernest Hilles. And the clip is there. He would have gone after Ernest Hilles. He won the elections. He instructed controllers to do certain things. Deal with Ernest Hilles. Controller said, no, I'm not getting involved in that. Controller was transferred. Brought in a party hack as controller who decided to prefer criminal charges against Ernest Hilles. Case got before magistrate. Magistrate, recognizing the triviality of the matter, said, look, every matter of such a nature, an attempt ought to be made to settle it through mediation. Case was sent to mediation. Case was settled. Chico, who had charged Ernest criminally, had to apologize, and controller withdrew the charges against Ernest Hilles. End of case. That's the end of it. Shastney's name was nowhere involved. Shastney was nowhere involved. But you see, he had used that matter so much to campaign as a campaign tool before the elections. He felt it was incumbent upon him to have the matter disposed of in a manner that was politically conducive to his desires. But he didn't get that. He didn't get that. He tried desperately for the over 5 years that he occupied the prime ministerial chair to put Ernest Hilaire behind bars. He did not succeed. So he felt, notwithstanding he was not privy to the criminal matters that were preferred against Ernest Hilaire, that had been disposed of, Chastanet believed, well, look, that has not gone my way. It has not been resolved in a manner that brings me political satisfaction. And so, I am personally challenging, and that, you see, that's how much interest he had in the matter. Had this criminal matter been resolved in a manner where Ernest Hilaire was sentenced to a term of imprisonment, Chastanet would open his mouth and say, justice has been done. But it was not meant to be. And although he was not involved in the case, he figured the outcome of the matter, like I said earlier, was not in sync with his desires. And so he decided on his own volition, hear this well, he decided as a private citizen. He decided not as a man who was affected by the outcome. He decided not as a man who had an interest in the matter, financially or otherwise. His only interest in the matter was political. That's his only interest. So the criminal matter is disposed of. Chastanet decides, in his quest to get Ernest behind bars, no, I am personally challenging the decision to have the case withdrawn after mediation. So folks, it is clear, it is pellucidly clear that Chastanet's intention is purely political. Why he don't go to the courts and look for all other criminal matters that have been settled in one way or the other, or the outcome is not what he would like, and challenge those outcomes? Why? No. He wants Ernest to go down. He had promised that 7.5 years ago. And his expectation, legitimate or otherwise, well, it wasn't legitimate. His expectation has not come to fruition. So he's mad. He a fou. Il a pour fou. So he decides that he's pursuing the matter and is challenging the decision that basically after the mediation to have the matter withdrawn. That's the same thing Chastanet did to me. Chastanet filed 3 or 4 contempt proceedings against me just before the elections. Chastanet was asking the court to jail me. You have people like Guy Joseph around you and Spider and all the others. And if I run out of names, I will call, what's his name again? Ubaldas to help me. You have all of them around you, but you want to jail me. And one day, when I thought I was just going into court for an adjournment, here was this man out of Barbados, and the other, his counterpart down here, the 2 musketeers, you know, there, hoping to have me incarcerated at the instance of the court. For what? For what? Because it was before elections and they needed me off the campaign trail. They filed a case and attempted to get an injunction against Flo to stop this show. There's a lot to tell, folks. There's a lot. They attempted desperately to stop Can I Help You? Filed an injunction. Something I've never said before, I'll say it tonight. I had to give Flo an undertaking that if they are ordered to pay damages, I will pay. I had to do that to continue. Can I help you? I have fought my battles alone. And I can fight my battles because I believe the just reward is on my side and truth is on my side. You know? Truth is on my side. So they attempted to jail me, 3 or 4 applications. Then they attempted, after they sued me, they sued Flo and said they will remove Flo from the case if Flo discontinues. Can I help you? All of that the Musketeers did. But they don't understand the Almighty is alive and well. I've fought my battles, folks. Don't believe me being a minister in the government came lightly. It came at the instance, and I'm pleased. I'm pleased, very pleased with Philip J.P. I call you Dr. Pierre. You know, I'm pleased. But let me tell you this. I fought to have those guys to go down. I fought. And I did it for my country. Never received a penny for 9 years from nobody. Did all my research, took my time, and came here. I had no research officer, nobody. Nobody at all. Okay. When I saw the guys are aiming at me from all angles, I paid all my legal fees. I never asked anyone to assist me. Nobody. Nobody at all. You know, the good thing is I must commend McDowell. He stood with me. He said, Richard, if you go down, I'm going down. And he said, look, we are fighting this. And I had to actually sign an undertaking to Flo. Those are things I don't tell anybody. I signed an undertaking. I said, if you are found liable $100,000, I will pay it. I, Richard Frederick, will pay it. Because the deal with Flo is, look, if you stop the program, we will relieve you or release you from the claim. All kind of raw tactics in the books, they tried. Just they tried and tried to jail Hile. Tried to jail me. You know. But on those 3 or 4 applications, I never went to jail. I never went to jail. So it tells you what the judges thought of the applications. So that application in relation to Ernest Hilaire was dismissed. It was dismissed. You know, he challenged the decision to discontinue criminal proceedings because he wanted to ensure that Ernest Hilaire had a criminal record. And having the charge having been dismissed, the claim rather, having been dismissed, on top of that, costs were awarded against him. The court held, folks, that it would not grant leave to Chastney to challenge a decision to discontinue criminal proceedings, hear this well, you know, on a case which the court thought, okay, that the application was being made on a speculative basis. It was being made on a speculative basis. So the court cannot get involved in speculation. I was privy to reading some of the affidavits of Alan Chastney. I verily believe. He's not even saying what the source of information is. So you swear to an affidavit. You can say, I know for a fact. That is different from you verily believe. You cannot ask for leave where you verily believe. You ought to know. And so the case was dismissed. Chastney say he will appeal. Folks, we are going to break. When we come back, I will play a couple clips for you, including, as soon as we get back, the one with Chastney expressing his discontentment with the decision. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
I am a St. Lucian, yeah, that's who I am. Find that place so sweet, melodies in the heat. Everybody's on the road, we jumping for one goal. To where the soca play, our culture on a display. Everybody say, we vibe's a special way. To see the people playing, everybody celebrating. The music sounds so sweet, it's only we who feel it. I'm proud of where I'm from, need you to understand. I am a St. Lucian, no matter how far I go. Thank God that I am a St. Lucian, and I come from the land of sun. Thank God.
You're watching MBC.
The winning numbers for the evening draw of Thursday, 24th August 2023 were Tic-Tac-Toe 2, 3, 9, 16, 17, 20, 21. Big 4 0, 9, 0, 1. Big 4 Multi-X 2X. Pick 2 6, 3. Pick 2 Multi-X FP. 1 off 3, 1, 7. Lucky 3 2, 3, 5. Lucky 3 Multi-X 2X.
You're watching MBC.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
My name is Martina. I would like to say thank you to the guys from Paddy Access, especially Jermaine, for a job well done. I called him 2 days before my brother's funeral to do a live video, and I was not disappointed. He was professional and kept in touch with me throughout the live just making sure I was satisfied with everything, I would definitely use Party Access again. And I highly recommend that anyone looking to do a live video to hire them. Everyone who watched my brother's funeral had good things to say about how much of a good job the videographer did. If you want satisfaction for your money, Party Access is the way to go.
The problem starts with finding a suitable spot. It extends to double parking. Offloading zones are ignored, thus inconveniencing commercial activity. Handicapped spots are occupied by drivers who use the quick errand excuse. And of course, there's the constant fear of parking tickets. In an effort to curb these and other parking-related issues, the Castries City Council will be implementing short-term paid parking. $3 an hour can save you $500 in parking tickets. Short-term paid parking, coming soon.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes, and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Introducing McDowell's Moringa, a natural supplement made from the Moringa oleifera, which contains more than 92 nutrients and 46 types of antioxidants. Moringa is said to cure about 300 diseases and almost have all the vitamins found in fruits and vegetables. Moringa contains 30 anti-inflammatories, 18 amino acids, and 9 essential amino acids. Moringa nourishes the immune system, promotes healthy circulation, supports normal glucose levels, contains natural anti-aging benefits, provides anti-inflammatory support, promotes healthy digestion, promotes heightened mental clarity, boosts energy without caffeine, encourages balanced metabolism, promotes softer skin, provides relief from acne, and supports normal hormone levels. Moringa has no documented side effects. Moringa, the miracle herb, available at Health Service Center.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Thanks for staying tuned. Let me say good night. Somebody quite rightly said, I don't remember. Okay, somebody asked me not to eat all the chicken. Kian, why are you asking me? I rather suspect they knew I was having chicken. Yes, I was. Daniel didn't cook for me today. She was busy in her classroom. So Daniel Thomas, good night to you, baby. I know you always do, so you're forgiven. Skinny. Yeah, man, good chicken. Thank you very, very much. You know, folks, if you just go down right there on Jeremy Street, he's right in the corner there. You know, he has fried, he has rotisserie, he has barbecue, he has everything. Name the style of chicken, Skinny got it. Let me say good night. You got the pick for me, huh? Okay, give me a minute. Let me say good night to a couple people. Rossi Cow, he said to me, it's whatever time in England now, and he's up listening to me. Rossi Cow, good night to you. In England, Charmin in New York, good night to you. As I said, Charmin, I remember Charmin Caesar. Oh boy, Charmin Caesar, you're really getting blues, you know. Charmin, you need to tell the people, when they come with their $2,000 assistance list, you are not the one making that determination. I know sometimes your patience run out and you behave. I've asked you to swallow your spit sometimes. You have to understand that you're my face. But folks, the decisions that are handed down to Shamir has nothing to do with her. So when I see somebody has one child and they're asking me $1,800, I cross it and I probably put $200 or $300. And next year I'm going to do it differently. Because persons want to beat Charmaine for things she knew absolutely nothing about. I have a limited amount of money, and there were about 15 persons. If I had assisted, the money would have just run out. So we had to ensure that we do it in an egalitarian manner. Okay? At least everybody get a little something. So Charmaine, good night to you again. Francis Rob and Mr. Sugar, good night to you. Secure, good night. Pam. Koya, Urioni Mopan Sidisia, Kibungila, Marietta, good night. Hey, Marietta, I understood somebody paid four shots at Johnny Walker Black for me. Wow, I'm a lucky man. I'll pass someone tonight if you're still there because I know Shem is there. Shem Pierre, good night to you. And Jermaine, good night to you, good night. Andre Macombi, a.k.a. Lionel, good night. Garfield Jabatis, good night to you, my brother. I understood that you're celebrating your birthday tomorrow. So advance birthday greetings to the man himself, Garfield Jabatis, an employee of Massey's. Samantha, Natasha, Massey, good night, good night, good night. Andy Donai, good night. Hey, Cutty Ranks, good night, my brother. You good, banner, you good. Zanik from Mitchell, why is anybody calling? Please don't call my phone now. Gosh. I mean, my phone is supposed to be on silent, but notwithstanding, why are you calling my phone? You know, those are the kind of things that kind of irritate me. You see me on television, you're calling my phone. Do that at my instance. If I'm taking calls and I decide to prioritize and let you use my phone, I would, but otherwise don't just call my phone. And calling it on WhatsApp again. Let me just repeat this. I don't take WhatsApp calls unless you are in my contacts. I do not take WhatsApp calls unless you are in my contact. A lot of you, when you all call me, you all see I just decline the call because you're calling me on WhatsApp and I don't know who you are. Do not call me on WhatsApp if you want, for the first time, if you want me to take your call. All right? Garfield doesn't even do that, and I'll take his call. The person calling back on a private number, so I give you a pattern, man, messieurs. Do not call my phone, whoever you are, please. I am on air. Zanik in Millhead, good night to you. Hayden Thomas, where someone will go through Hayden? Pada to ka just Hayden or Tilling like or Tilling la man go through by sa tutle, and the person keep calling my phone. I don't know why, but I wish you good luck. Albert Fredges, good night to you. Val, good night to you. Randolph, good night to you. Eugenia Dujo in Mondino, good night to you. Crystal and David, Rodney Heights, good night. Folks, I just got a message that, and that's true, Chastain did not change one controller. He changed two before Chico. The two previous refused to do the nasty work. He changed two and then Chico. He also changed the director of finance and he changed the chief transport officer. All of those changes are directly linked to the Ernest Hilaire matter. But you know, folks, I was saying, the people agreed, they went to mediation. Mediation asked Chico to apologize. Controller will withdraw the matter upon the apology being received. I don't know what happened, but matter finished. Chastain wants to see Ernest Hilaire in jail so much, like he wanted to see me, that he filed a private matter in his personal name to challenge the decision. You know, I believe just now Alan Chastain will be deemed a vexatious litigant. And that means when you are bombarding the court with stupidness, once the court deems you a vexatious litigant, you need the court's leave. You need to apply to the court before you can file a matter before the court. Okay? I suspect he's looking to get into that territory. So he files an appeal, he files a case, the case was dismissed. He takes it personal so much that he says he'll appeal. What I don't understand, 7.5 years ago, you were trying to jail Ernest Hilaire. You said it on platform. You spent over 5 years in office as Prime Minister. You changed 2 controllers of customs. You changed a chief transport officer. You changed a director of finance. All of them became collateral damage of your appetite to get Ernest behind bars. The matter was filed criminally. Matter was dispensed with through mediation. You are still not satisfied. So it clearly shows it's a personal vendetta. You file an action, the court runs behind you. The court says it will not grant you leave on a speculative basis. Chastain says he will appeal. Chastain will not stop pursuing Ernest until he runs broke paying legal fees. Until his father, anyway, I can't say that. His father stopped paying his fees. I don't know if that's happening because sometimes the man can have all his money hidden somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. But take a listen to Chastain holding a press conference after the decision. Mr. Technician.
When customs requests for proof of individual ownership of the Range Rover were ignored by Hilaire, the Controller of Customs filed a claim. Upon the government's assuming office, the new controller, without any evidence of ownership being presented by Hilaire, withdrew the claim. The learned judge last week made clear that he would not consider the facts or merits of the case against Ernest Hilaire, but only contemplated whether our application for judicial review met the necessary threshold. He decided that we did not provide sufficient evidence as to the DPP's official role in the case, and as such, agreed that the Controller of Customs was allowed to use his discretion to withdraw or terminate the case. Surprisingly, considering this was an administrative matter, an application for leave, the judge also awarded cost to the state. This decision in no way exonerates Ernest Hilaire of the allegations made against him. My legal advisors and I are currently reviewing the court's decision with the intention of appealing the decision. It is my strong belief that this is a matter of public interest and the Controller of Customs owes the public of St. Lucia an explanation of his unilateral decision to withdraw the case. The person involved is a senior politician with a lot of influence within this administration, and we must all be satisfied that he was not treated differently from any ordinary citizen. Crucially, given the heightened publicity surrounding this case, it was imperative that the Controller protect the integrity of his office by being fully transparent. The purpose of the judicial review is to hold the Controller of Customs accountable to the people and to explain why he chose not to consult the Attorney General, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Director of Finance, or the former Controller of Customs before deciding to withdraw the case. In his position, one of the most important civil service positions, integrity must guide all his decisions. He must also explain why he has accepted the bill of lading presented as proof of ownership, especially in light of the evidence that the vehicle was registered in the name of St. Lucia High Commission, which means it belonged to the government and to the people of St. Lucia. He must explain how Ernest Hilaire was able to clear a vehicle from customs duty-free here in St. Lucia without providing the requisite evidence that he owned the vehicle. The United Workers' Party will continue to pursue this matter until all legal means have been exhausted. We believe it is critical that all public officers are held accountable to their pledge to uphold the laws of the country and protect the best interests of the public without favor. No officer should be allowed simply to use his or her discretion without being transparent and accountable. This administration continues to make the decisions which put our regional and international reputation in jeopardy, and we must question public officers who have played a role in that. There is too much at stake for all of us otherwise. I'd like to read specifically from the judge's decision, and I go to page 6.25.
Anyway, Miriam Alexander, good night. Veronica, Vernon Casabo, sorry, good night. Now, Chasney, it is not a claim they had against Ernest Hilaire. It was a criminal charge. And cost was not awarded to the state. Cost was awarded against you. Against you, to the controller and the other person, whatever the name of the person is on the thing. You have to pay them. Good. So stop speaking or spewing untruths. All right? Folks, for over 5 years, Chasney sat in the highest office of the land insofar as daily runnings of the country is concerned. He could have done absolutely nothing because the technocrats realized that this was purely a speculative political hunt. He couldn't have done anything when he was in a position to do so. Now he's in no position to do so. He wants to do something. And you know the man has the audacity to speak about accountability and transparency. Can anyone believe that Chasney today, and I'll play a clip. Chasney say if he becomes Prime Minister, he will be accountable and transparent. We bad. You know, all of a sudden, the man has the I don't know, I don't say paka honte. accountability and transparency, Jasne. You speak of our regional and international reputation, Jasne. It's just like last night the man talking about stop traveling. As a minister, go check the records. And I will bet my bottom dollar I am right. As a minister, search from today. Go way down. Chasney as a minister traveled the most in the history of this country. Chasney as prime minister traveled the most in the history of this country. Today the man speaks about traveling. When he say, Monsieur pas bon cervelle. Monsieur pas bon cervelle. You talking about traveling? I've told you all, when you all do that, you all give people things to examine you all about. Traveling. You, Chasney. I was in a cabinet with this man. He's coming, go out. I'm leaving for Poland. When you check next minute, I'm in Rwanda. From there, I mean, even with the GPH thing, the pots they said we sold, and I'll come to that later. Go all over the place with Stephenson King. 1 minute they're in Miami. Oh, we're on the next flight. We're going to New York. Boom, they're in New York. Then, after that, they're in London. After London, they left London and went somewhere in Asia. And we have to go back to Miami. The man has the audacity to speak about traveling. Sound. You know, transparency. Are you not the same one? Are you not the same one who at a meeting of the Summit of the Americas essentially said, and mind you folks, at that meeting was a gathering of all those persons who mattered. Leaders of donor agencies, leaders of lending agencies, persons who can make a decision critical to the bolstering of any economy in the world. And the man opens his mouth in front of all of them and said, and let me just paraphrase, where transparency is so onerous, do away with it. Do away with it. And today, this very man, as though he's suffering with a bout of amnesia, will speak to transparency. Shaste uni chewi. You have chest we. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. You know, and this matter is so personal to the man that, like I said, quite a few civil servants fell victim. They fell victim once they were seen as barriers to Shaste's quest to make Ernest Hilaire a sacrificial political lamb. You know? And one of such persons, I mentioned 2 controller of customs and a chief transport officer, or whatever the nomenclature is. You know? Can you imagine? These guys were in government. And again, it is because we have civil servants who are in the know. And any civil servant, I give wrong instructions, or I give instructions that are not in sync with their job description, do not comply. Those guys wrote a letter asking the chief transport officer to remove a vehicle in Hilaire's name and place it in the name of the crown. Place it in the name of government. Can you believe this? No court order, nothing. Writing a letter. And because the chief transport officer refused to comply, the following day, view fought. You know? That's how they operated. That is how those guys operated. That they were the law. And the law was formed in cabinet. Imagine, Parliament decided on salary reviews. gave duty-free vehicles and increases whatever. Chasney gave who he wanted, and the matter had to be taken to court for the other beneficiaries to get theirs. How can you operate like that? And you want to be Prime Minister of this country again? The Salaries Review Commission laid out who was entitled. At the time, you'll remember, he gave the Speaker, the President of the Senate, and the Governor General. He reviewed those 3 salaries alone. And the opposition had to take Chasney to court to be given what they were legally entitled to. Same way I brought down my Overfinch. And it is the same Chico who openly told me that the government said, don't give me duty free, notwithstanding I was entitled. I had to take the matter to court, and up to today, I'm still awaiting a decision. Imagine, folks, I'm coming here with an expectation it was legitimate because I was carrying a letter from then Speaker of the House, Andy Daniel, saying that I am entitled to duty free. You know, God is going to punish you guys. When I got there, Chico told me, the fella said, don't give it to me, as though they were the ones making law, notwithstanding what Parliament said. And I had to get $189,000 to clear my vehicle. $189,000 is what I paid just to clear my vehicle. God is going to punish you guys. You all expect to do all that kind of wickedness, you know, inching on a dictatorial style of governance and get away with it. The things I have gone through at the hands of those guys. The things I have gone through wanting to stop my show, suing Flo so Flo could come down on me to stop the show. The bargaining chip is, if you stop the show, I will relieve you of any court proceedings. Flo stood its ground after I signed an undertaking. That's what I had to do. I said, Flo, if you are found liable and you have to pay any kind of damages, I, Richard Frederick, will pay. All of this I had to do to save this country. To save this country of ours. Brought down my vehicle. I didn't have the money at the time. I had to call Lon, who quickly sent me a check of $189,000. Yes. My vehicle didn't stay there more than a day. You know. He sent me the money, and after that we organized the loan and whatever. Paid it off very quickly. I mean, it doesn't matter. But my point is, those are the kind of wicked deeds I have received at the hands of those guys. But they don't understand there is a God. Folks, there is a God, and he's alive and well. Don't mess with him. Don't mess with his children. He will find you. Wherever the nook is, wherever the crevice is, wherever the cranny is, he will find you. And he will give you the justice you deserve. You know? So yes, asking the Chief Transport Officer to remove the vehicle in Hila's name, no court order, nothing, and place it in the name of government of St. Lucia. Having refused, view fought. You know. And the very controller, who was one of those who said, listen, I'm not getting involved because I cannot see any transgression of the law which governs my operation. She was transferred. And now United Park has seen nothing else to do than to attack her. You know, but as I've said on previous occasions, folks, I have never ever seen public servants under so much attack by an opposition that ought to behave as a government or like a government in waiting. I have never seen an opposition so clueless, so unscrupulous in their quest at delivering political blows at the political administration. They cause quite a bit of consequential damage in the civil service. But the civil servants are watching you. They're watching you. They have attacked the Commission of Police incessantly, asking for investigations when no report has been made. What are anyone going to investigate? What crime will they investigate? No official report has been made. But yet, they want an investigation. I've said before, an investigation commences with a complaint that is reduced to writing and signed by the person making the complaint. That has not been done, but they want investigations. And a busy broiling the man in a kettle filled with Flabo juice, as hot as ever. You know, Flabo tea rather, as hot as ever. That is what they are doing to a man who's not in politics. They have attacked Sean Alexander and placed his pic on social media. His pic on social media. When you do that, its accessibility has no global boundaries. Anyone, anywhere in the world can see it. With a big stamp, corrupt. That is what you do to people who are not in politics. They're not even on the periphery of politics. They have attacked my PS. They have attacked Ndongo and other persons who work in my ministry. You know? Why do you all do that? Why? Why? Take issue with politicians. Attack them on policy, not even personally, on policies. But you all go after private citizens of this country who are in the public service. Why? Why? You all don't realize that you all are damaging people who have families. They have families. And they have not done anything to lend themselves to that kind of brutality insofar as social media is concerned. You know? And other civil servants are watching, like I said. Anita Montoot, an ex-controller who was transferred while Shastney was there, who did not interfere with the Healy case, has been in the service for 29 years. 29 years. She joined the service in 1994. She worked her way in customs, becoming controller of customs. She has an impeccable civil service record. I know her husband personally. We were police officers together, Gregory Montoot. We worked in CID together. He retired as superintendent of police. Those are the people you're talking about. You know? Yet, you have the guts to take this woman's picture and put it up and call her corrupt, call her fraudulent. Why? Because she gave a letter to a young man who says, now whether the nomenclature is stipend or allowance, whatever, but she gave a letter quite rightly indicating that a man gets, a young boy rather, gets 1,400 or something so a month. That is a crime. That is a crime. Although it's a fact. For political gain, they destroyed both the young man and they are attempting to destroy Mrs. Montoot. Attempting. You know, you're united pack of wolves, you're jackalacks. You all are doing all of this in support of your leader. You all support him, and Mrs. Montoot did not do what he wanted her to do, So you all are supporting him, your leader. Because she didn't arrest Ernest Hilaire. She didn't. You all are destroying everyone that come in your way in pursuit of your political objective, or once it is in sync with your political narrative. You know, young man, trying to get a visa. I mean, I don't subscribe to fraud. You know, I don't subscribe to fraud. But for you to tell me you all are doing that to a young man for a letter which is factual in its contents, of which the contents are factual, you know. Just like I showed earlier, you all posted on social media, United PAC, breaking news, a woman died. I'm now showing a clip of the woman walking around that hospital. You know? You all have made up so many stories about me that I ask myself, I am the real Richard Frederick, or is there another? Is there another? Sometimes I believe I'm a Siamese twin. There must be another, because another Richard Frederick liked a post, you know, under something of United PAC I would have never liked. Why you all do this? Why? Just make up stories and plaster people. You all need to stop. A civil servant with such an impeccable... Look at what they did to the lady. Put that up for me, please. Yeah, look at this. This is the ex-controller of customs. You know? Fraud. You know, you think that is right, man? Huh? You think that is right? You think that is fair? Why? What is her crime? Her crime is she signed a letter which is factual in its contents. Now, hear the argument. Oh, the money the guy received is a stipend. So, you know, whether it's salary, stipend, donation, emolument, call it what you want. But the contents are factual. You all put this up about the woman, fraud. Now, if you all call that fraud, signing a letter saying a young man makes $1,400 monthly, if you all call that fraud, what would you all say about Guy Joseph? What would you all say about Guy Joseph, who admitted, having committed fraud to get money from the Taiwanese? He admitted, and I'll play the clip in a bit, he admitted committing fraud to get money from the Taiwanese. If this lady is a fraud, what do you call Guy Joseph? And although he did not say how much money was involved, I could tell you it's millions of dollars. It's millions of dollars. Let's take a listen to Guy Joseph himself.
I had to compile a list based on the contracts that were in the ministry. Pretend as if the projects had not been done and submit it to the Taiwanese for approval.
So I was asked of the possibility of writing something retroactively to cover that period. And I have said in no uncertain terms that unless I am properly advised by the Attorney General, and even when I am properly advised, I think I will still refuse to sign that instrument.
Joseph says he has learned from past mistakes in a short stint in his new ministerial portfolio and will not allow a repeat.
When I inherited the situation with the Taiwanese projects, the government not following their own established procedure for the procurement of the funds for the project by submitting the list of projects, getting approval from the Taiwanese before the projects were implemented. What they did was they implemented the projects and never submitted to the Taiwanese. I came in and I was honest and upfront. I said we had to submit the projects to the Taiwanese, known to them that the projects had been done, as if they were not done. What did the Labour Party turn around and do? Say that I was lying to the people, I was misleading them, I was doing this, I was doing that. I did that. Submit the projects to the Taiwanese, known to them that the projects had been done, as if they were not done. What did the Labour Party turn around and do? Say that I was lying to the people, I was misleading them, I was doing this, I was doing that. I did that.
I had to compile a list based on the contracts that were in the ministry. Pretend as if the projects had not been done and submit it to the Taiwanese for approval. Pretend as if the projects had not been done and submit it to the Taiwanese for approval.
Ma pe personne vous fait crime ba. Si moi vous fait crime, n'a fait crime moi-même.
Who can fait crime moi-même, but you just committed a crime there. Can you imagine guys saying he was honest? He was honest, but yet said he had to pretend as though the work was not done. Whereas the work was done. He had to pretend. I didn't say it. And in the same breath, I was honest. I had to pretend as though the work was not done, knowing that the work was done. I was honest. You know? Oh, Lord. You know, I was honest. I was honest. So, folks, who's the real fraudster? Who is the real fraudster? A lady who signs a letter with factual information versus a man who pretends that work was not done, knowing that it was done, to get millions of dollars from the Taiwanese. Who's the real fraudster? You know, I'm tired of telling those jackalacks to examine themselves before they point fingers. They talk about transparency and accountability. Ask them to check their leader. Ask them to remind them of what their leader said at the Summit of the Americas meeting. They talk about fraud. Ask them to call Guy Joseph and ask him about that. They call people criminals. Well, the whole of Flabo, from top to bottom. And if I miss any, I'm just calling you Baldas to remind me of who I miss. You know? The goal of those people, man. These jackalacks, they're stupid. Because, you know, you never put out anything which opens you up to examination in that very regard. You don't do that. And all of a sudden, you'll start attacking civil servants. You know why? You'll attack civil servants because you know you will not come back in the governance of this country for a long, long time, because you all will suffer the consequences. Folks, at this juncture, I want to make a plea for somebody who needs blood. Could you put up that post for me, please? Yes. Blood is needed by Leo Mathre. He needs your assistance. St. Jude's Hospital. I don't know if I'll have time to go down there tomorrow myself. I may run down the road and make a blood donation to Leo Mathre. I rather suspect I will. Based on the person who sent this to me, I think I should. So I will try desperately to go. I'm not committed myself, but I will give it. I will make my best effort. to do so. But folks, please go and make a donation of blood at the St. Jude Hospital to assist Leo Mathry. Thank you very, very much. On that note, folks, I must say I am indeed saddened by the death of, the sudden death that is, of my friend, Lance Charles, referred to as Butter. Could you put up his pic for me, please? Lance was a very, very good man, good boy. Once I'm by Prio, Lance lived in the area in Corinth. I would see he turn up and he would be carrying a bowl of fish cakes. He knows I like fish cakes. Richie, that's for you. I would sometimes share it, but if they were not plentiful, I would eat a couple and hide the rest and take it home. About 2 Wednesdays ago, was it a Wednesday? Yes, I think it was. No, it couldn't have been because I would not have been at DAX on a Wednesday, having to write the Thursday. What day was it? Yeah, he was. No, I know he was there that night. The Emancipation, he was there. We had a drink together. But after that, but I think it probably was the Wednesday after. Lance was at DAX. He had a few, so he was on the chair sleeping. I would not play the video now. It's just a nice short video, but it may make me remember Lance in a way that may just send me into tears. And then he got up and I said, Butter, look your video. And he started laughing, gigi. You know, he was snoring out loud. His head was dangling from side to side. And I videotaped him, after which I shook his head. Hey, Richie. I said, yes, stop sleeping there. And on Monday, I was in cabinet. Our phones are taken away from us in cabinet. No, well, we're not so, we don't have phones in cabinet. Rather than taken away, we give up possession of our phones. And during lunch, I turned on my phone. And I got a call from his brother, Lindell Brown. And he asked me if I heard about Lance. Now, persons who don't know I know them will call him Butter to me, but persons who know I know them very, very well will call him Lance, because Butterbread is his older brother, but they end up calling him Butter. And Lindell said to me, Lance is gone. And I just could not believe it. He was a friend, jovial, a man with a good heart. Good heart. And bro, you're not with us. But whenever we see again, we are sure to have a drink. And it won't be in hell. It won't be in hell. You are not a man who do people wrong. You are not a man who transgress the rights of others. So God will fare you well. Sleep in peace, my friend. Sleep in peace. Sleep in peace. All right, you can take it down. Oh. Folks, I almost forgot this one. It's evident that the leader of the opposition does not care about the people of Mico South. He doesn't. Neither does he care about the people of St. Lucia in general. Can you imagine the man was suspended from the house? He made endless noise, took the matter to court, and then there was an accession on the part of the government. However, 2 sittings following the last, the man was not present. The last 2 sittings, he was not present. Now, mind you, whilst he cannot be here minding the business of the people who elected him, he is busy in Belize endorsing a man who was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. A man who was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, he's endorsing him to become the Prime Minister of Belize. That is the same Alan Shastley whose surrogates call people who don't even have a traffic conviction, they call them criminals. They call them criminals. People without a traffic conviction are called criminals by the surrogates of Alan Shastley. But you're busy in Belize. You abscond your duties here as a parliamentarian and leader of the opposition. And you are busy endorsing an ex-con. You know? But honestly, folks, this man is disgusting. Honestly, he is. I mean, they are meant to have a meeting to discuss St. Jude, which I'll be coming to now. You know? And the sale of our ports. Folks, which ports were sold? The people have actually advertised the sale of our ports. I am waiting for them to have their meeting on sale of ports. And I can guarantee you that I will have an entire show on what they say. You know? If you say our ports were sold, show the deed of sale where the ports were sold. It's easy. You go to the registry, your wife is a lawyer, ask her to get the deed of sale. Deed of sale of St. Lucia ports by the government to GPH. Where is the deed? And that's how you spew propaganda all over the place. Only foolish people can be fooled. You know? I remember when we said we had to evacuate Block X. Ian Cauldron said he has solid information that the land was sold for $5 million. Jesus Christ. Propaganda alone. Propaganda alone. If a property is sold, for heaven's sake, do what Richard Frederick does. Go and get the deed and show it to the public. Show it to the public. Don't come and say pots were sold and you know. She is. That is the kind of propaganda you'll spew. And that's how you fool people. That's why today, folks, Shastley will openly express support for Julian Alfred. Sahot. And by the way, we're having a watch party at Derek Walcott Square tomorrow from about 12:30. Put up that flyer for me, please, quickly. You have it? From about 12:30. As I mentioned, Julian Alfred, I remembered it. But yes, from 12:30, watch party, Derek Walcott Square. We will have a huge screen, tent, vendor. I don't know if vendors will be there if they want to come and sell them. Yeah, anybody, welcome. But we're having a watch party. The race is actually, I think, at, what time is the race? 3:40 or thereabout? Or 3:30, thereabout. But our watch party actually starts from 12:30. Your humble servant is sure to be there. But all of a sudden, Shasta supports Julian Alfred. You hypocrite. You wanted to jail Sean Edwards. You wanted to jail Sean Edwards because he facilitated Julian Alfred with a small stipend, a very small stipend of $150 a month. Pour ça, $50 par mois. Chaslet te vle Sean Edwards l'argent. Iquier, how we call it again? Minister's account. You know, tout kalte bagay. Ek Jordia, you stopped the stipend as you got into office. You left Julian Alfred in the will. You think she don't know that? You think her mother don't know that? You left her in the wilderness, and today, you hypocrite, you posting on your page, I support Julian. You never did. When she needed you, you were not there. It's like children. My children can never say I didn't support them in their infancy stages. When they are grown and they're making their millions, if they don't want to see me, they don't want to see me. But the excuse will never be, I abandoned them. No. They need me now. In fact, one alone left. You know, I have to ensure I give all my children tertiary education. Let them get the degrees. Enter the realm of professionalism, and the good Lord can take me after that. I would have done my deed. I would have done my commitment to my kids. I cannot leave them in the wilderness now. You know? And even if grown as they are, today I spoke to Dr. Richard. Daddy, can you blah, 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 blah. I said, Richard, excuse me. You are a grown woman. You know? It's still daddy, daddy. So when Julian Alfred needed you, she needed you, you stopped her stipend that was done by Sean Edward. Hypocrite. And today you try to destroy Sean. You try to destroy him. You stop her stipend, and today you are posting that stupidness. Put it up for me, please. Alan Shasta, still a winner in my books. Proud of you. Julian Alfred should tell you. Anyway, as Philip J. Pierre said, let me swallow my spit. You know, still a winner. Why? Don't take it out yet. Leave it there, leave it there, leave it there. Still a winner in your books. Proud of you. When she needed you, Shasta, where were you? Where were you? You know, wanted to jail Sean Edwards. Stop the girl's stipend. Left her in the wilderness. And today, proud of you. Hypocrite. Hypocrite. Now, folks, I want you to take a listen to what Sean Edward had to say about that Julian Alfred episode. Take a listen to this.
On page 44 of the budget address, the Prime Minister spoke passionately about Julian Alfred. Mr. Speaker, he said this country has been witnessing the valiant feats of the breaking of records by Julian Alfred. Unquote. Mr. Speaker, sports is a universally accepted avenue or medium through which the human potential can be realized. And Julian's coaches, Mr. Speaker, saw her potential at a very early age. Her mother saw it, her school teachers saw it, the Lyonesse Comprehensive Secondary School principal then principal in the person of Mr. Lubon saw it, Mr. Francis, aka Ibed, saw it, Cornelius Bream and the other executive members of the Athletics Association saw it, Cuthbert Modest saw it, Mr. Speaker. And when I was approached as the minister at the time, and I was told that we have this young athlete at the Lyonesse Comprehensive Secondary School who has demonstrated that she can be a world-class athlete, and that certain interventions needed to have been made at the time, Mr. Speaker, to get her to transition from Lyonesse Comprehensive Secondary in St. Lucia to St. Catherine High in Jamaica. I wasted no time as the minister to ensure, Mr. Speaker, that we put what was needed in place to give her the support. And Jim Xavier, the current director of sports, will tell you, Mr. Speaker, and Jim has to be credited persisting, Mr. Speaker, and believing in the process. And under my ministerial watch, Mr. Speaker, I caused the National Lotteries Authority at the time to give a stipend of $150 to Julian Alfred monthly, Mr. Speaker. Monthly. And for that, Mr. Speaker, to use a word that the member for Beaufort South, who's not here with us, uses all the time, Mr. Speaker, I was excoriated. And you know what they did? When they came into office, they stopped the subvention that was being given to Julian Alfred. The same government that spent $112 million on horses, Mr. Speaker, stopped $150 going to a budding athlete who showed promise, who gave us the impression from very early that she had the potential to be world class. And that is what they did, the United Workers' Party administration. But today, I stand here vindicated. Mais even avant de commencer l'investigation, ils ont déjà mis combien de bagages dans les médias sociaux pour détruire le caractère, et puis tu as écrit moi voler, et puis tout l'autre nom qui t'est. Et qui ont dit que tu as investigué moi pour Mr. Speaker, c'est pour qu'une cause Julian Alfred pour jouer $150 par mois. Ça c'est un monde qui quitte cette liste. Il est allé à la Jamaïque. Il a resté la caille en monde, Mr. Speaker. Qui ça qui $150 that nous pas ça bailler un monde comme ça? Mr. Speaker, aujourd'hui, si nous pouvons mettre ça en anglais, a dollar value on the performances in terms of the exposure that she is giving to this country, not even the impact of the tourism marketing efforts can compare. And she has just started, Mr. Speaker. But today, Mr. Speaker, she's because I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know what it is like, Mr. Speaker, to cross the boundary rope and to take the field with the national flag on my crest, Mr. Speaker, representing my country. I know what it is like, Mr. Speaker, to raise my bat in the direction of the dressing room for my country on foreign soil because I would have done well for my country. So once I would have been in the Ministry of Sports, any opportunity that presented itself for me to have assisted elite athletes, I would have done so. But who's the first person, Mr. Speaker, waiting for the races to be run so there can be an update on his page? The member for Micoud South. And there's a shamelessness that characterizes his politics, the likes of which, Mr. Speaker, that we will never see, not just in St. Lucia, but the entire Caribbean. In part of Mr. Speaker, they call that Sahont. Pani Hontes.
Y'all are hearing this, folks? Y'all are hearing this? Huh? Sahont. Sahont. Pani Hontes. And this is what today, this man is posting. Proud of you, Julian Alfred. Proud of you, proud of what? Sahont. You know? Proud of you for what? You stopped the stipend. You heard Sean, you excoriated him. You wanted to send him to prison. You scandalize his name. You scandalize his name. Minister's account. As though he's one of the greatest perpetrator of fraudulent activity. $150 a month. You know, trying to facilitate, at least making a contribution to the development of the young girl. Today you're proud of her, Sahont. Sahont. Stop the stipend, left her in the wilderness. You don't think that Julian Alfred doesn't know that? You don't think her mother doesn't know that? Huh? Let me say good night to a couple people before I pray. No, play that clip from Fortuna when she called in this guy. Play that clip, please.
We have another caller. Good morning, welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Hi, good morning, Shannon. How are you?
Not too bad, yourself?
Okay, I'm good. My name is Fortuna Belrose, and I'm the former president of the St. Lucia Olympic Committee.
Thanks for calling.
I just want to congratulate Julian on her achievement and to add my voice, you understand, to what's happening with her. As you know, she's a model. She reflects a foundation that was well laid. You know, her determination, her desire, her depth. You know, all of this reveals a champion, that she was a champion on course. you know, and the important thing for our society is that for young people, you know, to see that Laverne, but Julian had a dream. And she had a dream, and she made the right choices around that dream. She had a mother who supported her, you know, throughout the endeavors that she undertook. And what was even better for her was that the systems worked in her favor. So she belonged to a club, she had a school that was supportive, she had a National Sports Association, you know, that provided the opportunities for her. She also had a Ministry of Sports team, you know, that worked, you know, recognizing the gap and deficiency in the programming at the time. Because if you recall, in 2017, St. Lucia should have hosted the Commonwealth Youth Games. And she was one of the leading athletes at the time. And it was felt that we could not lose that resource and that opportunity for a big stage for Julian. So the Ministry of Sports, the minister in particular, and we must give him credit for that. Sean Edwards, Jim Xavier, you need to give them the credit, because what they did was they sat together and crafted the plan to work with her team, her coach, Twatimi Modeste, to get her out of there into Jamaica.
You know, folks, you know, another sahut. Fortuna Belrose, you are sahut. You are sahut. When Sean Edward was being attacked, what did you say? What did you say when he was being attacked? You sat in the cabinet and tacitly endorsed everything that was being done. Sahut. When Shasne or your government decided to stop her stipend, what did you say? Sahut. You know? Y'all are so unscrupulous, man. You know the worst character is one that is shameless. Plus vieux kalte moun bodje ka vwe asoulate, c'est ça qui pa ka honte. You know, Sean was taken to the gutter in an attempt at assisting this young lady. Today alone, you want to give Sean his praises? Why did you not praise the ensuing Minister of Sports? Why? Because you'll stop the stipend. Because that was a stop government. You'll stop the stipend, stop St. Jude, stop the Iwanora facility, stop the administrative building. What y'all don't stop, y'all demolish. Demolish Passia. Y'all demolish police headquarters, demolish custody suites, demolish the old police station. All the places are now vacant. Nothing there. What y'all don't stop, your son. She had a dream. She had a mother that supported. Where were you? You were in the cabinet of ministers. You would have stood and hold your ground. Gentlemen, ladies, let us continue this stipend. With hindsight at your disposal now, you are left with no choice but to give credit where credit is due. But you know what? You just throw Sean in the midst as though he was just another person who contributed. He did it from a governmental standpoint, and you all should have continued it. But no, someone goes out here. You know? You said nothing when he was being taken to the gallows, the political gallows. Minister's account. You know, endless tales. It's like me, we sold a piece of land there. Shasta try and make. Just now we'll be opening the new NHC headquarters. I don't want to show pictures yet. I ain't showing pictures yet. I will show you all after 50, 60 years of NHC being in existence. It had to take your humble servant under whose watch NHC will have their own headquarters. They never did. Never ever did. They will turn from tenant to landlord. That is how you run a country, man. You all are the start-stop government. Start-stop. Start-stop. And now all of you all want to wane on the girl's success. Julian Alfred is not stupid. Julian Alfred has a brain of her own. Her mother has a brain of her own. They can decipher who was with them, who was not with them. Everybody knew Twatini helped. Why you think everybody was on board, led to Atini go to Budapest? Why? Because it is common knowledge. It's also common knowledge what you did to Sean. You know, it's common knowledge as well. And it's common knowledge you all stopped her subsidy when she needed it the most. She needed it the most. Deban Sound. Angie Kedu, good night to you. Lucian Trini, good night. Tamara Barrow, I know you're watching. Dexter James, Ashel, what y'all doing there? Y'all lying down, hand in hand, legs in legs. Good night, good night, good night. Glenda, Petra Edmond, good night. Trisha Inderiso, I know you're not a sound for sure. David Molwy, good night to you in the US. Bibiana Londonderry, Saudi Bibiana, the Sewaks in Forestier, good night to all of you. Good night, good night, good night. So yes, folks, that is the hypocrisy of those people. You know, the same Fortuner, the very same Fortuner who came on television and said that in those constituencies where they did not win, the people did not identify with the vision of the government, and so they can be left behind. The Belrose Doctrine saw its birth after that statement, but today, you know, can you believe this? I'll tell you all something. Next election, I don't think I run in anything as independent. I will be on every Labour Party platform. Because you know, people like you, Sahut, no man. No. Gibo in Deriso, I'll be with you. I can guarantee you that. I will be with you. You know, you all need to stop. And St. Maxwell, say Sahut la. You know, I will be with you. I will be with you, Gibo. I will. Now, folks, St. Jude. The fellas, lay up and Bible pala about that. The airport, folks. The money is about 13% interest per annum. 13. I mean, 13. Philip J. Pierre was able to secure a loan. Major Saltibus, good night to you. Philip J. Pierre was able to secure a loan at 2%, 5-year moratorium, and it contains a natural disaster clause, meaning if the subject matter is destroyed as a result of a natural disaster, that's the end of the loan. A properly negotiated loan. No. That is why I'm waiting for them. And I will show you all the documents of the loan of the airport. It's 5% plus 8%, 13%. And they talk about, you know, say Sound Latin. Now, let me say this. They spew so much rubbish. Look at the rubbish one of the Jackalacks posted. Put that up for me, please. Put it up for me. What's his name? Joachim Jimmy, JJ. Spider, what did you say J stands for? Whatever Spider said J stands for, that man is the double one. You have 2 J's. Spider Pamakidi. Trisha Neptune, they say you're at Electraste. Spider, whatever you called Philip J. Pierre. Philip J. Pierre has 1 J. That one is one of your Jackalacks. He has 2 J's, so he's a double of whatever he is. Now, back to St. Jude. The technical, the garbage he spews, The technical audit found that the box was 80% complete. The technical audit found that the box was 80% complete. We now have to secure 200 to complete the old structure. Hear that well, you know. The old structure. Surely it would have cost a lot less to finish the 20% of the box. You know, Joachim Jimmy, I will enlighten you, you know. But it is no wonder both of your names start with J. It is no wonder both of your names start with J. Go and ask Spider what that means. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it means. Both names start with G. You know, you could take that down. That is the kind of nonsense that they spew. No research, nothing. The box is 80% complete. It's cheaper to finish the box. Killer's box is 80% complete la. You know, some of you have no guts. Some of you have no shame. Some of you are totally ignorant as to what the facts are and just spew garbage. I have said before, folks, and I will repeat. The box could not have stood alone as a hospital. And there are no old structures, JJ, Joachim Jimmy. I don't want to call you what Spider called our Prime Minister. But you have 2 J's. That means you are doubling. But there is no old hospital. All the buildings are new buildings. Tout ces buildings are ces buildings neuf yo fait. So what is old in that? What is old? You know, and the box needs those buildings to function, but the buildings don't need the box. Bouet la bouise ada se building na pou faire whole l'hôpital, but se building na pa bouise bouet la. So in other words, même si nous allons à bouet la, nous still bouise ada se building na. J. Nous still bouise ada se building na. But se building na pa bouise bouet la. Pa comprendre ça? Oy. Me a moun ni mo wile called April 1st. You know, folks, I want to read you very quickly excerpts of the annual project report, the final report on page 15. Could you put up page 15 very quickly for me, please? Because you know that's how I operate. Good. Status of completion. The report state the SJHRAP status report. That was the report that was done before we interfered. It is dated July 29th, 2021. Elections, you'll remember, were 3 days earlier. Okay? So that was a report commissioned by Chasney himself. That man said that JJ said that the box was 80% complete, but had a finding of our team. The report does not indicate the current state of completion of what you see phase 2, there is the box. So where you get that from, JJ? The report that was prepared by Chasney's people does not indicate the current state of completion. But head is well. It says here, there are 3 new buildings, the West Wing dialysis and physiotherapy, remain between 70 and 90% complete. Those are the buildings that not the box, but the project as a whole is less than 30%. You know, 30%. The committee disagrees with the assessment that phase 2 is now at an advanced stage of completion. Now, when I show you some pictures and video clippings of the box, you will tell me if that represents an advanced stage of completion. Project cost to date, under 7.6. According to the status report again, that is your report, dated July 29, 2021 and prepared by the NAO, the cumulative expenditure on the box from February 2019 to July 2021 amounts to 118.05 million. Are you hearing me? Are you all hearing, my students, that from January 2019 to July 2021, 2 years and about 4 months, they spent 118 million on the box. Okay, now go a little lower down. The committee, hear this well. The committee did not agree with the stated current expenditure as some of the work activities in the active contracts had not been executed. The contract awarded to Fresh Start in the sum of 25 million for the internal architectural elements is one of those contracts where a significant amount of work is still outstanding. So y'all are hearing me, folks. Y'all are hearing me. Are y'all hearing me? The man said the box was 80% complete. They are saying the project as a whole is less than 30%. The only buildings that are between 70 and 90% are the new buildings that they found there. Okay? Less than 30%. And they have spent $118 million on it. And mind you, folks, all contracts for the box were by direct award. Direct award, no tender. Hey, by the way, tender, how is tender? You know, and telling me the box was 80% complete. Let me play you a clip where Jeremiah Norbert is describing what the box was, or is rather. Could you play that clip for me?
Eh, boîte là. Un gros boîte. Et des personnes ont $100 million sur un gros boîte. Et puis, mettez-nous privilégié pour descendre là et puis staff parlement pour aller ça qui était à fait là. Et qu'avant election, moi savais combien portrait renderings, combien portrait St. Jude's, and there was a lot of pronouncement and announcement about St. Jude's is almost completed and they're going to be delivered in St. Jude's. And when I went there, Mr. Speaker, it just really dawned on me that I think that as politicians we really take our electorate for fools. We really take our electorates and believe that the people who we go to and we beg them to vote for us really believe that they're illiterate, that they're fools, and you just come and you just put something in front of them and tell them, here's what, we're going to finish this building, and they're just supposed to buy into it. Ek mersi bon de aparte like nou le nou vive la masi que c'est ba goutier parce que gloka descend la left, right and center. Understand, you surfing is the end of the guttering and the water is thrashing coming inside of there.
Saba Philip Jeff, say Alan Chasley, no Tutka West, messieurs. Everybody hopping up on the Flambeau train. Everybody hopping up. Then comes destruction from the opposition. Like they don't want Lusha to go on. What more can I say? With Alan Chasley, Lusha rising again. So we staying on the Flambeau train, Lord. Everybody hopping up on the Flambeau train. Everybody hop.
80% complete. 80% complete. Can you believe this? Can you believe this, folks? Folks, all this is a glorified car park. You know? A glorified car park, that's all it is. A car park, and it has you know, all of these pieces of steel are to receive the Gadlo, to receive the frame. You know, can you believe this? Show some of the pictures for me, please. Yes. Look at the thing that Jakalak said is 80% complete. 80% complete. 80, folks, this is a glorified car park. You see like a car park? You can just drive in that. A car park, and it has cladding on the side. That is all it is. That is all this thing is. That is all state-of-the-art hospital. Where is the 80% completed, Joachim Jimmy? Where is it? Show it to me. Show me the 80% completion. This thing has no external walls, none. They just put the cladding, they rest the cladding against the columns. No external walls. This thing has no conduits, no electrical conduits. It has no air conditioning conduits, none at all. 80% complete. 80. That look like the car park Chaste father have down there by the Massey building. You know, come on. That is more like 18%. Folks, I don't believe some of those people fully look at what they tell me. 80% complete. State-of-the-art hospital. When the guy calls from wherever, state-of-the-art hospital. Where is it? This thing has columns, it has floors, and it has cladding. That's all. That is all we have there. And I'm saying I don't think we fully understand and appreciate the amount of damage that this country has undergone by in fact underwent by the last administration led by Alan Chastney from the Cabot lands, valued at 90 million. NIC was doing everything to buy it. NIC did a site visit. NIC caused the valuation to be done. And then they were stopped. And we heard from Isaac Anthony, he got a call from Chastney. You know? So the pensioners, the people of this country, were deprived of buying it. And it was sold to Cabot at less than 1/3 of the value. And to make it worse, with our pensioners' money. You know? God is not going to be nice to those guys. And then take our land, give to T.O. King at $1 an acre. 99 years. 99 years. Take our mall, valued at 60 million. Sold it for less than 1/4 of the price. And agreed to rent it back for 16.5 months. 6.5 years, sorry. At over $1 million, or between $1 million and probably 1.1 or thereabout, because they are floating expenses. They are those that are not readily, you know, you cannot tabulate them readily. You know? But at least $1 million a month for 16.5 years, committing the government to over $200 million. You know? That is the kind of damage that was done to our country. Then DCA rejecting an application on behalf of this Canadian. Clem Bob, invariably operating on instructions, would cross the rejection note that was in the diary in relation to that application. He crossed the rejected note, and above it he wrote approved and signed it. You know, And now we have a case which we will spend a lot of money to defend. Just like we will spend a lot of money to get out of this Teoaking debacle. Because this matter is likely to have us to lose our World Heritage status. And if it is withdrawn from us, St. Lucia will become a global prodigal son. Folks, this is so serious. This thing about the World Heritage status is so serious. You will not believe, on the 5th of August, it appeared on the front page of the Montreal Journal in Canada. Have a look at this. Montreal Journal in Canada, August 5th. Could you scroll down a bit? Let me show you the headlines. Un site classé par UNESCO, menacé par la projet de VP de Dollarama. A site classified by UNESCO is threatened by a project of the Vice President of Dollarama. You're hearing? This is how far this has gone. This is how far Carlton Augustine it has gone. Brenda John, this is how far it has gone. This is how far this has gone. Once any topic can take the front page of a newspaper circulating in Canada. Murray Frederick, my forever after, how are we? Wait. Titus Joseph, good night. But once it can occupy the front page, it shows you the seriousness of the problem. You know, this was what was done to this country at the hands of a government led by Alan Shastney. You know, and folks, you will not believe, you can take that down. You will not believe, somebody said it's no longer 4 tuners, it's 1 tuner. You will not believe this man has the audacity now to pledge, if he becomes prime minister again, he will be transparent. Show the pic for me, please. Look at this. Should the UWP, I can't read it, could you zoom out on it, please? Let me read it, even if it covers the screen of my face, I can't read it from here. Should the UWP be elected at the next general election, I pledge to maintain transparency and accountability with government contracts. Can you believe that, Sophia, sister? Sophia Frederick Utazaidila? Should the UWP be vacated? Should the UWP be elected at the next general election, he pledges to be transparent. Only now, Shastney. Only now. But not only that. Let's hear it from his own mouth. Let's hear it from his mouth.
If I was to get back into office, which I hope I do, I absolutely will change the law that on a signing of any contract, that we must make it public. And therefore, all the investors will know that these documents are going to be made public. If I was to get back into office, which I hope I do, I absolutely will change the law that on a signing of any contract, that we must make it public. And therefore, all the investors will know that these documents are going to be made public.
Can you believe this, man? Folks, I was at wit's end trying to convince the entire populace that the DSH agreement was real. I tried my utmost. Shastney, on the other hand, was saying this is a fake document. A fake document. The DSH. Today, oh, that's not it, and I'm not going to release it. Where is it? No, he can't say. But today, you want to pass a law to make it transparent? Folks, let me, before I take any calls, if I have time to, I don't think I will though. I want to read a piece I saw written on the St. Lucia, is it what? St. Lucia, was it? News Online? St. Lucia News Online. It was a well-written piece. I don't know who's the author, but I want to share it with you. Let's go. Good. No, the piece I need. Right. Could you not zoom it out a bit? Or let me see if I could read it from my... Hold on one sec. Folks, just be patient with me a second. Let me try desperately to get it. But honestly, this piece is such a good read that I felt it is necessary to share it with you. The caption is, Alan Chastanet is back. You didn't show the caption, did you? Show the caption for me, please. Alan Chastanet is back. Oh, okay, you can show it. All right. It reads this. Alan Chastanet is back after more than 3 weeks of abandonment of duties in the House of Assembly and the constituents of Micoud South. As expected, he visited safe havens of press conferences and Timothy Polio shows to let off some steam from his defeat by the court in order to pay his case against the Controller of Customs for the seizure of Ernest Hiller's vehicle. As if his delusionments and tirades were not enough, his onslaught of attacks on local institutions did not falter. In a democratic society, public institutions play a vital role in promoting stability, upholding the rule of law, and ensuring well-being of its citizens. However, Alan Chastanet is synonymous with crusades to undermine these institutions, posing a significant threat to the very foundations of a functioning democracy. As Prime Minister, you may recall his attempts at dismantling so many of our local institutions and continues to do so as leader of the opposition, undermining the judiciary. One of the most critical public institutions is the judiciary, responsible for interpreting and applying the law impartially. When a former Prime Minister who has been to the courts more often than some lawyers, I like that one. Let me read that again. When a former Prime Minister who has been to the courts more often than some lawyers attacks the character of our judges once he loses a case, it can erode public trust in the fairness and integrity of the legal system. However, when this same former Prime Minister, now leader of the opposition, wins in this same courts, justice is served. Such is the juvenile behavior of a man who made few attempts at ameliorating the conditions of courts or their processes. Chastanet's disdain for local and regional judiciary is not new, as he led a weak train of supporters in a match against the CCJ in favor of the Privy Council of the United Kingdom, a court that has been begging its former colonies to leave. Attacking the press. A free and independent press is essential for holding the government accountable and ensuring transparency. However, Alan Chastanet is known for his attacks and disdain for local media. Yes, they attack Miguel Favre, they attack so many of them. Once fact-checked or probed for more honest answers, he undermines the media by dismissing critical reporting as biased or labeling journalists as enemies of the people. True to form, the opposition UWP has read the playbook of Chastanet, and we saw the public relations officer of the United Workers' Party, Leonard Spider Montoute. Hello, the man name is Peter. Eh? Hello, the man name is Peter. Good. Let me read that again. True to form, the opposition UWP has read the playbook of Chastanet, and we saw the public relations officer of the UWP, Leonard Peter Spider Montoute, go on a tirade against the media as their latest press conference. This behavior again seeks to undermine the public's trust in the media's ability to provide accurate and unbiased information. The UWP is known for its threats and dismissal of the media. However, this intimidation seeks to erode the checks and balances necessary for a healthy democracy, as citizens are deprived of objective reporting and diverse viewpoints. Politicizing intelligence agencies. Intelligence agencies are crucial for national security and providing accurate information to policymakers. However, under Alan Chastanet, we saw the rampant politicization of these agencies by pressuring them to align with his political agenda. This sought to compromise the integrity and effectiveness of intelligence gathering. We witnessed the dismissal of a commissioner of police in favor of a contracted worker, the appointment of a director of public prosecution on contract for an obscene salary, not in keeping with the public service salary scale, the changing of 2 controllers of customs to seize Ernest Hiller's vehicles. This behavior undermines public trust in the intelligence community and can lead to the biased decision-making, potentially jeopardizing the nation's security, undermining public confidence. Perhaps the most significant consequence of an Alan Chastain's reign as Prime Minister, and even now as leader of the opposition, has been the undermining of public institutions and the erosion of public confidence in the government itself. When citizens lose faith in the institutions designed to protect their rights and to ensure their well-being, it can lead to widespread disillusionment, apathy, and a decline in civic engagement. The removal and demotion of the Cabinet Secretary, the head of the public service, was one of his first acts, signaling to public servants that he was prepared to victimize anyone who dared cross his path, I add. His poor governance continued with the ordering of senior public servants to issue checks for vaccines that St. Lucia never received and didn't need. The cancellation of negotiated funding for the Uranora International Airport and the Castries-Grosile Highway, and the awarding of direct finance contracts with a 5-year repayment period are just a few examples of what passed for governance in this country not too long ago. Those actions weakened the democratic process and made it easier for the authoritarian tendencies of Alan Chastanet to take root. A prime minister who undermined public institutions posed a great threat to democracy by weakening the judiciary, attacking free press, politicizing intelligence agencies, and eroding public confidence. Alan Chastanet was allowed to undermine the very foundations of our democratic society. As opposition leader, he has not accepted the power shift and continues to believe that his abusive authoritarian style can command all of his subjects to his bidding. The brand style of politics of an Alan Chastanet continue to undermine the very fabric of this society with the constant attack on professionals. The palatable vitriol from his performance on Newsmaker Live on Wednesday night is evidence of a man stuck on July 26, 2021. That piece was extremely palatable. That piece was extremely palatable. And to be honest, I enjoyed reading that piece. And what you find now, this piece is so real, it is so true, that Chastanet has cases that persons, judges want to recuse themselves from. And they recuse themselves because of his behavior, because of his inability to obey instructions. I mean, I read, when this matter with the speaker came out, I read the initial judgment when the judge indicated to the litigants that you shall stay put. You shall not open your mouth and say anything in relation to the decision taken here today. In less than 10 minutes, Chastanet was on newsfeed. When you win a case, justice has been done. And they go about bragging, you win. You win. Whether it's an interlocutory application or not, you win. You lose a case, you attack the judge. If I were a judge, I don't want to hear any case once you are a participant or a litigant in the matter. Folks, tonight you all will have to excuse me. It's 20 past 11. We have done about 3 straight hours with only one break. Only one break. But I'm really happy. Ria Cruz, you said it. You said only a man who is truly patriotic would stay after 11 dispensing with information that he knows would be of interest to members of the public. So folks, forgive me tonight. I won't take any calls. I need to go rest. I'm Richard Frederick. I'm out of here, and I hope you enjoyed the murals that you saw. Could you play that one more time for me, the murals, before we leave, please? We unveiled today. It was a collaboration of efforts. I want to thank the Prime Minister, for making the finances available. It was a tough fight, but Ernest pressed his pedal, and the Prime Minister agreed. In fact, it was in the manifesto of the Labour Party, and one of the things they undertook was to beautify the country with art, starting with Castries. But could you play this? This was done today, folks. The unveiling ceremony was today.
Oh, yeah. I am a St. Lucian, yeah. That's who I am. Find that place so sweet, melodies in the heat. Everybody's on the road, we jumping for one goal. To any soca play, our culture on a display. Everybody say, we vibes a special way. To see the people playing, everybody celebrating. The music sounds so sweet, it's only we who feel it. I'm proud of where I'm from, I need you to understand. I am a St. Lucian, no matter how far I go. Thank God that I am a St. Lucian, and I come from the land of sun. Thank God.
Thank you very, very much. Lawrence, good night to you. What's it again? Vice versa, you know? Thank you very, very much. I want to say good night to Flora. Flora, what you asking to do to Chasney? I don't get involved in that. Brenda John asked me to repeat Saint-Hont. You know, both Fortune and Chasney, Saint-Hont. Yeah, there's a lady in Riverdore. Rachel Cassius, thank you for the continuous teachings. Good night to you. Good night, good night, good night. There's a lady I was saying who sells sea moss and stuff. I met her some time ago driving around the island during one of my Sundays, because you all knew I was on the trail very, very, very early and used to do my round the island. So was Albert Frigis. Always asked me, where are you this Sunday? I would say, and he would just join me. And there's this lady in Riverdore, always have two huge Labour flags next to her house. I forgot her name. Bibiana, Madame la Gigavan Riverdore, ou suppose connaître, ou kay di mwen ki mouniye, mwen bali shout lot vendredi. Okay. So folks, Cornelia Jacob, I told you I'm coming down. I'm coming down for 3 bottles of Johnny Walker Black, 1 representing each of your 3 triplets. All right, my girl? Oh, Caban. Ah, Caban. Oh, there's a Caban driver. That is his wife. There's a driver called Caban. I know he drives a minibus. But by the way, Caban Boswe. But she's Macaban. Macaban. Si se ugima. Well, Boswe. Lema kafe nepot run the island na idu butwo. Ek na men oti gift bow, oti chocolate bow. Okay? So I just want to thank each and every one of you who was watching, who was viewing. As I've always said, if God has blessed you, no one can curse you. Live clean, because what you sow, you are bound to reap. Emancipation, we celebrated a bit of it today. We must never forget where we came from. Never forget where we are going. And always remember, the right to vote is a right that was bestowed upon us not too long ago. Our ancestors had to fight. You had to be of a different color. You had to be a plantation owner. Today, we enjoy that right and we take it for granted. We cannot take that right, a right that we fought so viciously for. We cannot take that right and hand it back to those same colonial masters. Folks, as I've said, if God has blessed you, no one can curse you. Live clean, because what you sow, you are bound to reap. I'm Richard Frederick, out of here.
You're watching MBC.
This bell will now strike fear in the hearts of your enemies. Their fear of you will bring energy to your body. Tonight, the birth of Devil Roll will arrive to seek vengeance on all who done you wrong, my son. When they hear your bell, they will fear death. Death will judge the sinners. Open your eyes.